So my only question is, did anyone not see this coming? I mean, everyone saw this coming. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to WeSibz, West Coast, East Coast siblings, where we break down your favorite movies and TV shows. Today we are talking Snowpiercer, episode 5 of season 2. This is going to be your biggest takeaways reaction review, all rolled into one video. Hit the subscribe button and click the bell so that you don't miss. And let's dive right into it. Okay, so here's the elephant in the room. Audrey is compromised. And honestly, this is just such a serious, glaring error in judgment. They should have known this before sending her off into Big Alice, right? They should have known that she still had a heart for Wilford, and we found that at the end of the episode when she's given a chance to come back to Snowpiercer or stay on Big Alice. What does she decide? Exactly what you could assume. She likes to pretend and likes to play like she's emotionally manipulating him and having her way kind of with him. And that may be true, but the same thing is also happening the other way around. And so I don't understand really the idea behind this. It was always a risk, but I think it's too much of a risk because you stand to lose way too much if she becomes compromised. Okay, she almost got... Okay, she's a singer, right? She's not like a soldier or any kind of spy or anything like that. So you have her in here doing dangerous missions, right there in the control room, trying to switch out these things, picking locks and stuff. It just seems like a recipe for disaster, and it's already starting to go downhill. One episode into her journey there on Big Alice. So that was super annoying. I don't know why I didn't see it coming last week. I guess I was thinking, no, she's got to be, she must really know what she's doing. But we're seeing it's all falling apart this early. So another thing that's happening is Mel is missing, right? So she obviously went out there to put out those balloons and give some data so that they could create I forget what it's called, some sort of climate map, I think. So they can find out what's happening to the weather and see the changes in the weather so that they can find out when it will be possible for them to go back outside the train. So they put up 11 balloons, and then I guess it was time for number 12, and she missed her time to put up some information. So now she's missing, but if you stuck around for the end of the episode and saw next week's teaser, we know she's alive. Like this isn't really a question, but some people still do think Melanie will not see the end of this season. I think it's possible, but here's my issue with that. Melanie is one of the core characters, one of the main reasons that a lot of people watch this show. And so I feel like as writers, you have to be able to replace a character like that before you can get rid of them. And right now, there are not any characters on Snowpiercer that could replace Melanie. Therefore, I think she's safe. We'd have to see some serious character development in the next 2 episodes. And they've actually been doing that a lot in the last 2 episodes. A lot has been going on. I mean, I'm just looking at my notes here on the computer. A ton of stuff actually happened, from Terrence using Josie to possibly, for sabotage reasons. Bess, she's a great character. Do I think she has potential to take over for Melanie? No. She has her own issues. She took 1 day off, and that's the day that it all went to heck in a handbasket. They told her to take a day off. She really just wasn't getting anywhere. She didn't have a single lead. I think it had been like 2 weeks removed from when one of the tailies got their fingers cut off. And they, all that time, had thought that an entirely different group was responsible for the attack. And now we see these hooded people. Who are they? We're assuming they work for Wilford. But they might not. That's the thing. We really don't know who they are. My guess is they probably work for Wilford, but we have to leave that open. That they might not work for Wilford. So another one of the things that happens is obviously with Icy Bob. This is huge. Is Icy Bob an ally of Snowpiercer? He was playing friends and making nice with Josie. Josie was doing a great job, by the way. Great spy work. She should have been sent in there, but I was going to say she should have been sent in there to switch those things with Wilford, but she couldn't have gotten that close because she has no relation to Wilford in that way, so she never would have been able to get in the room like that. But Josie was doing fantastic work. She was putting messages in some kind of bottle and then having runners basically get it back and forth to Leighton and stuff. Fantastic work. Just 1 week in, she was able to get a lot of good information. So hopefully, I mean, it looks like we're already seeing the end of that, as she looks to be compromised already. She's a little sloppy with it, especially, Icy Bob was able to see that she didn't take her meds when she was supposed to be under. She obviously did this to see what probably the Headwoods would talk about, the two doctors, what they would talk about while she was under, maybe give up some secrets or things that she could use. I guess it worked, but here's the thing. They put you under for a reason. It means you're about to go through something very, very painful. And you can't tell me that she did not move or make noise. And I know she did once, but I just don't think something like that would be possible, to go through that entire procedure without making a noise or moving around. I think is a little bit far-fetched. But Icy Bob, he seems to have a conscience. He seems to be, wanting the best interest of Josie and Snowpiercer. Now, we don't know too much about the background of Icy Bob. We're assuming he has no affiliation, no relation to Snowpiercer. But it seems all that torturous treatment from the Headwoods or the Haywards, whatever the two doctors are, whatever their names are. Let me know down in the comments below because I can never hear it right. Like, they always say it so quickly, or how TV is, where the voices are super low and then the action's super loud. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, so Icy Bob would be a great ally to have, especially as we get to the breachment or whatever Wilford is planning. Okay, this seems to be some sort of attack, obviously, and Icy Bob, I would assume, is heading that attack. He probably has a lot to do with that going smoothly, and now to see that he's keeping secrets from the folks on Big Alice and from Wilford, ultimately, tables could be turning. You know what I'm thinking? I think that Josie is going to end up getting caught. And I know that some of you guys had said in the comments below that she can't turn into another monster like Icy Josie. That's weird. Or Oily Josie, or one of those. But I think it really could happen. I think that she's going to get caught. And when she does get caught, they're going to use that as an excuse to experiment on her even further and push those boundaries. They're going to push her past what Icy Bob could do. And I think Icy Bob is going to end up working for Snowpiercer and the gang. And Josie's going to turn. And one commenter said it's a little too Bride of Frankenstein. I got a kick out of that. But, yeah, I see that too. But I do think it could happen, especially with these doctors. I mean, there's no telling what they're going to do. And you can't tell me they had Josie's best interest at heart. Of course, they jumped at the opportunity to experiment on somebody. But you can't tell me they're not going to abuse that. So Ruth makes a tough choice. That's another thing that happens in this episode. Let me react to that a little bit, because I had been, going against Ruth for a long time. I thought she was still too much of a fangirl for Wilford, that she wouldn't be able to make a tough choice. It was in the heat of the moment. They were doing the exchange. Obviously, somebody else is compromised. You want to talk about Audrey? She's compromised. But Ruth actually stands up, and she doesn't. She says, "Nope, Mr. Wilford, we cannot do that now." Sorry, that's a horrible, horrible accent. I apologize. Anyway, yeah, so I was impressed. Do I think that this means that Ruth is 100% on Snowpiercer's side? Yes. She's not necessarily on Leighton's side and the Resistance and the Tailies. She's not necessarily on Wilford's side. As she said, she's on the side of the train. And I think that in that moment, she did what was best in her eyes for the train. So I think that's something we can always trust, is that no matter how much of a fangirl she is for Wilford, she will try to do what's best for the train. She will try. That doesn't mean it's always going to happen, because I think this is going to come around again full circle, and she'll be tested again. But I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt for next time. Maybe she won't give in to Wilford's ways, Wilford's wayward ways. But that, so I was impressed with that. And then we have Murray and Amelia, who we touch on again, the two Aussies from the last week. They had, I guess they bonded over the fact that they thought they were both the last Aussie. One's on Snowpiercer, Amelia's on Snowpiercer, and Murray is, no, got that backwards. So Murray is on Snowpiercer, Amelia is from Big Alice. She was one of the people chosen in that lottery to go with Wilford on his big night on the town. And there was a little bit of dialogue, a little bit of foreshadowing with her and Alex. And we'll get to Alex in a bit, where she was talking about she's in love, and love makes you do crazy things sometimes. And that's obviously foreshadowing that Amelia is going to end up betraying the people on Big Alice and possibly rescuing Josie, or possibly giving more information that will help the Tailies and Leighton take over. Amelia's definitely on Snowpiercer's side at this point. They foreshadowed it for a reason. So, with that being said, I want to get into Big Alice. Of course, as always, be sure to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. If you're enjoying the video, the algorithm shows me that most of you guys watching are not actually subscribed. So if you're still watching, join the community. It's actually fun. These people are awesome to chat with. I always stick around in the comments for a while to talk with you guys all week, really, about Snowpiercer. So getting to Alex. I don't know how to take Alex anymore. I was frustrated with her. I didn't trust her. You've seen the video. Maybe you've seen the video. I'm not that big yet. And now she's back on Big Alice's side. So she had made some strides to bond again with her mother, with Melanie. They had a few moments, right? I'm not crazy. They had some moments. They bonded. Right? But then she seems just spiteful again in this episode. She's mad at Wilford because he seems to be going soft. And I don't know. After this episode, I think Audrey might actually be going more soft than Wilford. Wilford is definitely at risk, but he's not compromised yet. He's not compromised as where Audrey is. But I digress. Alex, she's back on the Melanie hating train again. She had a discussion with Audrey, and Audrey was like, me and your mother are friends. Again, with the bad accents, I apologize. She was like, me and your mom are friends. And she's like, yeah, well, Melanie and Wilford are enemies. So what does that make you? Here's the thing. She doesn't want to know the answer to that question. Because if people really do come out and say, yeah, I'm on Melanie's side, and that happens in front of somebody like Wilford, I think Alex is extremely compromised in who she truly allies with. So I don't think she wants the answer to that question, because in that situation in front of Wilford, she would probably choose to be on her mom's side. Now, she's able to hide this for a little bit because her mom is presumed dead, right? Obviously, she's alive. And I don't even know if they presume she's dead. What would be better to say is they don't expect her to survive. Maybe she's alive in their minds now, but they're not expecting her to make it back onto the train. And with that reality setting in, Alex is very weary to show too much allegiance to Melanie. Now, if momentum shifts, she might jump back on that Melanie loving train. But right now, I was like, she's a little two-faced, because she was just all over her mom in the last episode, crying and hugging, I love you, and all that stuff, right? And then now she's hating her again and saying Wilford's going soft. I think she's just, you know what? She's young. I got to give her a break. She's young. She's emotionally compromised. She wants a relationship with her mom. But Wilford and Big Alice is really what she's known, what she's grown up with. So she's torn. I get that. I understand that. But she needs to hurry up and make her mind up. Some other things we've seen in this episode. Terrence dies. LJ whacked, what's his face, Pike in the head. Pike kills Terrence, by the way. I'm just looking through my notes here, making sure I didn't miss anything. This was a pretty good episode. Again, I feel like in these last couple episodes, there's been so many developments at once. It's been hard to keep track of everything and try and follow the most important storylines. to make sure we don't get lost. I think they're throwing a lot of distractions our way, which is kind of cool. There are a lot of characters, and they all have their little stories. There was one more thing I wanted to talk about before we wrap, and that's Bess, right? So obviously she took that one day off, and it all went to heck in a handbasket when the day she decides to take off. But I still think that she meets this pastor, and he beats the mess out of her, right? She gets angry and starts beating him into a corner. But, I mean, it was kind of a silly fight to watch because it didn't look like much of it. I mean, they were in 2 different weight classes. But anyway, to make a long story short, she seems to be regaining herself, finding her stride, kind of. Now she's being thrown back into the fray as Snowpiercer is going haywire. It's going crazy right now because of the killings that are happening as the door was closing between Snowpiercer and Big Alice. But I think she's ready for it. I think she's going to catch a lot of heat and maybe a lot of pushback because of the fact that this all happened under her watch while she was on break. But ultimately, I think she's up for the challenge, mainly because there's nobody else. And it's the same thing with Melanie dying. People saying Melanie's going to die. Replace her. Writers aren't going to get rid of characters that they can't replace or that they're not comfortable replacing. So, but with that said, let me know what you think, obviously, down in the comments below. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm always chatting it up with you guys pretty much all week until the next episode, episode 6. This episode was called Keep Hope Alive, I believe. So, all those things, especially with Melanie being gone, they lied to the people on Snowpiercer, telling the people of Snowpiercer that Melanie had given her regular reports in order to keep hope alive. So they told a white lie in this episode. But thank you guys so much for watching. As always, again, if you're still watching, you need to join the team, man. Subscribe, man or girl, or yeah. Join the team, subscribe, click the bell so that you don't miss an episode. We cover your favorite movies and TV shows, always taking suggestions down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, as always, and we'll see you next week. Peace.